And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Hopkinton High School turf field. There you heard the national anthem. We tried to pick it up as best as we could. It was just a recorded edition anyway. But we are ready for Division II State Tournament Baseball live on HCAM. As today, it's the 18th seeded Whitman-Hanson Panthers against the 15th seeded Hopkinton Hillers in a round of 32 matchup. The Hillers come into this game with a record of 14-7. Whitman-Hanson is 12-8 overall on the season. Tom Nappy happened to be on the call with you on this very windy day here today at the turf fields. Denise Antaki on camera, and it's kind of similar weather to what we had last weekend. Obviously, of course, not as much rain, but you got a little bit of clouds, a little bit of sun, a good amount of wind, and it's a little bit wild out there, but that's okay. We'll get through it, and we'll have some playoff baseball for you as Dylan Ruff is set to make the start on the mound for the Hillers. He has been sensational this season on the mound and with the bat. And we are working on getting the lineups in. We should have those soon. But Dylan Ruff, your starting pitcher for the Hillers here in playoff game number 1, and hopefully one of many to come for this Hiller team. But it is certainly a very competitive bracket. Throw the regular season out the window. Anyone can beat anyone in this bracket. Dylan Ruff has thrown 36 innings this season. He comes in with a 1.94 ERA. And we are set to go as we get our first hitter to the plate for Whitman-Hanson. And again, folks, working on getting the lineups. We'll have those for you very soon as the first pitch fouled away. Oh, and 1 is the count. So at the plate, that is Tyler Pruitt leading things off for Whitman-Hanson. One and 1 the count now. And this is going to be hit into right field. That'll be a base hit to get things started for the Panthers. And Pruitt is aboard with a single. Well, temperatures in the lower 60s, could drop down to the 50s tonight. As we get a courtesy runner out there, and now coming up to the plate, we have Preston George. Ruff is set to deliver. And this is hit in the air, foul territory, and that'll land outside of play. 0-1 the count. And we get a new baseball, and we are ready to continue on. And a check-in on the runner at first. He'll head back to the bag. One on, no outs. Top of the first inning. And another check in there. Ruff has a Good pickoff move. Nice quick move to the first base bag. And now he is set for the pitch. He winds and deals, and this is driven in the air towards left center, and that is going to get down for a base hit and roll under the fence for a ground rule double. So that'll put Pruitt at third base, Preston George at second base, and the first two men are aboard for Whitman-Hanson as they get things started off on a good note. Tom Crowley set to step to the plate next. So it's runners on second and third. No outs. As the Panthers of Whitman-Hanson look to strike first. Runner at second with a pretty significant lead. But of course, you're going to be careful checking on him with a base runner at third as a strike is delivered. So let's take a look at the Hiller defense. You got Dylan Ruff on the mound, Calvin Mahan behind home plate, Michael Sullivan at first base, and then over at second base, Travis Rich, windup and the pitch. And there's a ball, 1-1. Ryan Lang at shortstop, Andrew Bauschman, your third baseman from left to right, James Hayward, Nick Pajoli, Zach Stacy. Set to deliver. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Well, a strikeout would be nice here, and Ruff has gotten a good amount of those this season. There's a ball, a little outside there. 1-2 is the count. Or correction, 2-2. Well, the wind's certainly going to be a factor here today as well. And if you put that ball in the air, it's going to blow around. It's going to make fielding a little bit difficult. And that pitch misses. Full count now. Well, Dylan Ruff, he's been one of those pitchers this season that starts off a little rough in the first inning, but then as the game goes on, he settles down a bit. And he has been very valuable for the Hillers, but he's going to give Tom Crowley the walk here. So it's now bases loaded with the cleanup hitter, John Walker, coming to the plate. So bases loaded for the Panthers. And the first pitch there is a strike. Ruff set to deliver. That pitch a ball, 1-1. Wind up and the pitch. And this is hit in the air, foul. So there was a lineup switch. Walker drew the walk. And it was Crowley who was out of the lineup. So this is Ryan Baker at the plate. swing and a miss there, and a nice out for Dylan Ruff, a well-needed out. So Crowley was out of the lineup. That was Ryan Baker striking out. And then we got Frank Carreri stepping in. Bases loaded, one out. Wind up and the pitch. There's a strike. Well, strikeouts in these situations are the most valuable thing you can get. So Ruff, he's going to test those corners and bring the heat. And you'll probably see a couple breaking pitches mixed in as well, such as that one, as that is hit in the air right side and caught. And that was a long way for Rich to go. Runner from third is going to stay put. And what a play there by Travis Rich, who had to really come a long way to make that catch. And he made the basket-type catch and able to have a beautiful throw right to home plate to prevent any advance from the runners. As Jacob Getchell steps to the plate for Whitman-Hanson. 2 outs. That pitch a little outside. Well, the Hillers, they've gotten out of their fair share of jams this season, and we'll see if they're able to get out of this one unscathed as well. Ruff working from the stretch. Leg lift and the pitch. And this is a slow roller up the left side, picked up by the shortstop. Throw to first, and Sullivan out of stretch, but he corrals it in. Lang to Sullivan for the out, 6-3 for out number 3. And despite Whitman-Hanson loading the bases with no outs, the Hillers get out of it unharmed, and we are heading to the bottom of the first of this Division II round of 32 state tournament game on HCAM. Welcome back. We are ready for the bottom of the first inning. It's Hopkinton Hiller Playoff Baseball live on HCAM. As the Hillers look to get some offense going, Dylan Ruff, the pitcher, will start things off. And he is going to face Tom Crowley. As Crowley delivers the first pitch there, and it's a ball. We'll get you the Hiller lineup in just a moment. And this is fouled off. 1-1. Set to deliver, and this is going to be a bunt up the left side, and he is going to beat it out. So an infield single for Dylan Ruff, and he is aboard. And that's going to bring up Nick Pedroli, who's been absolutely red hot with the bat all season long, really, but especially as of late. He had a tremendous Richard Pedroli tournament, and really was the main reason why the Hillers ended up winning that tournament. And Nick Pedroli got the Pedroli MVP of the Pedroli tournament. No relation to Richard Pedroli, but he was certainly happy to take the prestigious award of the great tournament that the Metro West Daily News hosts every Memorial Day weekend. Very enjoyable tournament. An 0-2 count here. And they're going to get him. A backwards K for Nick Pedroli, and that's going to bring up Michael Sullivan, the first baseman. Well, the Hillers, they've had some time off since that tournament, probably well-needed time with the long games they had to play during that tournament. Of course, we had the 11-inning affair to wrap up the Pedroli tournament, but it's the Hillers' first official game, really, in 8 days. So some good time off heading into the playoffs. That pitch inside, runner from first taking off, and Dylan Ruff has a stolen base. Well, the Hillers, as you know, not afraid to steal, and they love to try to manufacture those runs, and they do a good job of it. As that is fouled away. That pitch in there for a strike, 2-2. Set to deliver. Swing and a miss. There's a strikeout. 2 away. Now you got Calvin Mahan, the catcher, stepping to the plate. Oh, and 1 the count. First pitch, a strike. Wind up and the pitch. Outside, 1-1. Ball there. 1-2 the count. Set to deliver. And he gets a piece of this one. Slow roller up the middle, picked up by the shortstop. Throw to first, and they get the out. So that's 6-3 for out number 3. And just like that, we are heading to the top of the second on HCAM. We are ready for the top of the second inning. Dylan Ruff back to work on the hill. Austin Brenehy, the right fielder, stepping in. Actually, I believe it is pronounced the Brenny. So Austin Brenny stepping in. Then you'll have Jason Nye, the second baseman, and Kane Allen, the center fielder for Whitman-Hanson. And he is going to get a piece of this one. Slow roller up the middle and a 4-3 out as Travis Rich able to get it over. So one away. And now Jason Nye, the second baseman, stepping in. All right, well, we have the Whitman-Hanson lineup we can get to you, so let's get you the full lineup as he deals the first pitch to Jason Nye there for a ball outside. You got Tyler Pruitt, the catcher, hitting first. Preston George, the shortstop, hits second. John Walker, the DH, hitting third. That pitch outside. Ryan Baker, the first baseman, hitting cleanup. Frank Carreri, left fielder, hitting fifth. Jacob Getchery, third baseman, hitting sixth. Austin Brenehy, right fielder, seventh. Jason Nye, second baseman, eighth. And Kane Allen, the center fielder, ninth. And this is going to be up the left side, throw over, not in time. He beats it out. So showing off the wheels there is Nye as he is able to get there for the infield single. So it'll be one on with one out. Kane Allen stepping to the plate. And this is hit in the air, left center, and that's going to drop in for a hit. Nye flying around second, heading to third, and he is going to stay at third. And that is a one-out double by Kane Allen. And Whitman-Hanson has runners on second and third. Top of the order coming up as Tyler Pruitt set to step to the plate. So let's get you the Hiller defense. Dylan Ruff on the mound, Cal Mahan the catcher, Michael Sullivan at first, Travis Rich at second base, Ryan Lang at short, Andrew Bauschman at third. From left to right, Zach Stacy, Nick Pajoli, and James Hayward. Working from the stretch is Ruff. Well, this top of the order made some noise in the first inning, but the Hillers were able to get out of the jam despite Whitman-Hanson loading the bases with no outs. Working from the stretch is Ruff. And that pitch a ball, 2-0. Well, Ruff, looks like we got Fitzgibbon out there pitching, so excuse me. According to the game changer, we're a good distance away, so tough to see sometimes, but the Hillers do like to go by committee, so they do have Landon Fitzgibbon in the game. So they had Ruff the first inning, now they got Fitzgibbon this inning, and they just had more warm-up action. But now that I got the lineup, so I won't be as distracted as that pitch is high. And that's a walk, so Fitzgibbon gives up a walk there. And we'll see what the Hillers do here pitching-wise. I mean, it's been interesting all season. They have a few guys that could go a good amount of innings. But they like to switch it up and kind of have that committee style. And we'll see if it works, and perhaps they'll have less of a committee style than they would typically. Because if you find a guy who's pitching well, you certainly want to try to keep him in there for a few innings. That pitch outside. 1-0 to Preston George, who had a hit his last time up. Two and 0 now. Well, busy day here at the turf fields. We had the softball team practicing earlier as I was setting up. They got a game tomorrow, which will be live on HCAM. And now you got the boys lacrosse team getting ready for their big game tomorrow in Westwood. And our friends over at Westwood Media Center will have that game, coverage of that game for you. And you can find the link to their YouTube page on our website, hcam.tv. And a lot of playoff games have been happening all weekend long, and we'll tell you about some of them a bit later in the broadcast. We'll try to give you the details about what's happening around the TVL. Some very exciting games took place over the last couple of days. Is that pitch a strike? 3-1 now. Now Landon Fitzgibbon, he's been a reliable pitcher for the Hillers, and they're hoping, I think they're going to try to leave him out there a few innings as long as things go well. He's pitched 17 innings, 17 and 2/3 of an inning, and he has a 2.77 ERA. And this is going to be hit in the air, shallow center. Ruff backpedals and makes the catch. So Dylan Ruff moving over to shortstop, making a nice little catch there. Ryan Lang started the game at short. Now you got Rich stays at second. Ruff takes over at short, and Fitzgibbon on the hill. Stepping to the plate, John Walker, the designated hitter. Wind up and the pitch. And this is up the right side, right down the line. He picks it up, steps on first, and Michael Sullivan gets the 3 unassisted out. And the Hillers get out of another mini jam there unscathed. It's a scoreless game as we head to the bottom of the second on HCAM. All right, bottom of the second inning. Hillers coming up to the plate. And hoping to get something started here. Well, both innings, Whitman-Hanson had the bases loaded, but the Hillers got out of it. A swing and a miss there by Andrew Bauschman. Andrew Bauschman, third baseman today, or actually, excuse me, that is Noah Kramus at the plate. So you got Noah Kramus, Andrew Bauschman, and Zach Stacy due up. Tom Crowley out there for his second inning, and Kramus took one for the team. So he is hit by the pitch, and he will head down to first base. Putting Noah Kramus in the lineup. He's been hitting well lately, 5 for 12 over the season. Hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities, but when he makes contact, he can hit the ball well. That'll bring up Andrew Bauschman, the third baseman, as he takes ball one. Andrew Bauschman, a .250 hitter, 9 for 36 on the season, 8 RBIs, 6 runs, 3 doubles, to his credit. One checking at first, runner back safe. So let's get you the Whitman-Hanson defense. Tom Crowley is your pitcher. Tyler Pruitt behind home plate as that pitch a bit outside. Ryan Baker at first base. At second base, Jason Nye. Shortstop, Preston George. Jacob Guthrie at third base. From left to right, Frank Carreri, Kane Allen, and Austin Brenny, your right fielder. 2-1 the count. Checking at first, runner back safe. So some Sunday evening baseball for the postseason, and they got all kinds of fun things going on over there. They got an ice cream truck and a couple food trucks down there. So there's some good eats here at Hopkinton High School this evening. So if you're in the area, want to see some good baseball and grab a bite, come on down. Checking at first, runner slides back safe. That is Kramus over at first base. As he reached after being hit by a pitch, no outs. 2-2 the count. Leg lift and the pitch. Swing and a miss, one away. I'll bring up Zach Stacy, who's been hitting the ball very well lately. Zach Stacy, a .315 batting average on the season, 8 RBIs, 4 runs, a double, and a pair of triples. Wind up and the pitch, inside, runner taking off from first. The throw down is not in time, and a stolen base for Kramus. Well, the Hillers not afraid to take risks on the base path. They took one there, but Kramus showing off the wheels, sliding underneath the tag and able to touch the base for the steal. Well, the Hillers overall 85% on stolen bases, 72 for 88, so pretty good numbers. And that's the luxury of having a team with a whole lot of speed in the lineup. Crowley takes a look at second, and this is hit in the air towards center field. It's caught, and retreating back to second base is Kramus. 2 away. And that'll bring up Travis Rich, the second baseman. Part of the outfield wall fell. They'll be probably stopping the game in a moment to put that back up. Swing and a miss there. And they have to have the wall up for the postseason games. That is part of the rules for these state tournament games. You have to have a wall in the outfield. Hillers, they like to have the never-ending outfield and go without the wall. Wind up and the pitch. There's a strike. Oh, and 2 the count. Well, the boys lacrosse team practicing hard, but certainly getting their glances in of this baseball game when they can. Rooting on their fellow Hopkinton Hillers. Swing and a miss, and there's the end of the second inning. And we are scoreless after 2 innings of play in this Division II round of 32 state tournament game. We head to the top of the third on HCAM. This program is brought to you in part by TVLSports.net. You can view the standings, stories, pictures, highlights, and more about the 12 teams in the Tri-Valley League at TVLSports.net. TVLSports.net is an independent news and media website reporting on the TVL and is not associated with the MIAA, Tri-Valley League, or any town or school. Welcome back. We are ready for the top of the third inning. And as we enter the top of the third, we have the third pitcher of the game for the Hopkinton Hillers, Ryan Lang, out there on the hill. So you had Dylan Ruff for the first inning, Landon Fitzgibbon for the second inning, and now you get Ryan Lang in the third inning. Well, I guess it makes it difficult to prepare against the pitcher you're going to face. Ryan Baker at the plate. But Coach Anderson likes to go committee style. He does it frequently, and he's going to try it here today and see how it goes. Set to deliver. And there's a strike. One and two the count. Leg lift and the pitch. And this is hit high in the air, right side, and it is caught by a backtracking Zach Stacy for the out. And that'll bring up Frank Carreri, the left fielder. Carreri flew out his last time up back in the first inning. There's a strike. Line up and the pitch. Down low. 1-1 the count. Leg lift and the pitch. A swing and a miss. 1-2. He winds and deals down low. 2-2. Windup and the pitch. And he gets a piece of this one over to the shortstop. Ruff throws the first, not a problem. 6-3 for out number 2. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Jacob Getchell. So Getchell steps in, and Whitman-Hanson down to their final out of the top of the third. More warm-up action for the Hillers. Looks like they got Ethan Sensini getting loose. And this is ripped up the left side, foul. Well, the one thing you know when you go committee is you're going to have a fresh pitcher out there, especially after several days off. And, you know, maybe that's part of the logic is you had that week off and you want to get everybody stretched out. As that was hit high in the air, but Ruff gets under it, makes the catch, and that will wrap up the top of the third. To the bottom of the third we go. We are scoreless in this Division II state tournament round of 32 game live on HCAM. Bottom of the third inning, James Hayward stepping in for his first time today. 9-1 and 2 hitters due up for the Hillers as they look to get the bats going. And so far, it's just been a good pitcher's duel between these teams. And you'll see a lot of good pitcher duels in the playoffs, as I believe you got a piece of that and knocked it foul. Well, we have had a whole lot of TVL action going on and action, state tournament action throughout the state. And we'll get you some Hiller updates. Wind up and the pitch. This is hit up the left side, took a couple hops, picked up by the third baseman, not a problem. 5-3 for out number 1. And that'll bring up Dylan Ruff. Dylan Ruff stepping in. Nick Pedroli due up next. And this is part of the order where the Hillers really want to try to get something going. And breaking pitch there. Good dancing breaking pitch. Danced a little too much for ball 1. We also certainly want to welcome all the folks watching over in the Whitman-Hanson community. Thanks for tuning in. But a good turnout at the game here tonight. Wind up and the pitch. And this is going to take a couple of hops up the middle. The throw over, and it's in time. 6-3 for out number 2. And that'll bring up Nick Pedroli, the center fielder. Well, Hiller girls lacrosse was in action, playoff action over the weekend. They took on Methuen in Methuen on Friday and unfortunately fell short in that game. 17-9 was the final. So the Hopkinton Hiller girls lacrosse team ends their season with a record of 11-8. And right now the boys lacrosse team walking by after their practice, and they'll be heading to Westwood tomorrow for their round of 32 game, a TVL themed matchup as that's filed away 1-1. Also in action this past Friday was Hiller girls tennis, and unfortunately they fell short in their matchup in Franklin. They were trailing 2-0, came back, tied it up, but Franklin took the 5th set. So the Franklin Panthers got the 3-2 win there. A tremendous season by Hopkinton Hiller girls tennis, as they will wrap up with a 13-6 record. Wind up and the pitch, and this is hit high in the air, left side, and it is going to be out of play and out of reach. Count will remain 1-2 on Pedroli. Some other baseball action that took place in the state tournament included Medfield in their round of 32 game earlier today against North Reading. They fell short 16-4 in that one, as that's fouled away. Count remains 1-2. Dover Sherborne lost to 7th-seeded Sandwich. 8-0 was the final in that. And I watched part of this one, but Ashland Clockers the other day on Friday took on Martha's Vineyard, and they hosted them in a prelim game. Very good game. Ended up going 12 innings, but they ultimately fell short in that one, 5-4, as their season comes to an end. Nick Pedroli flies out to short, and the bottom of the 3rd is coming to an end. We'll head to the top of the 4th. After 3 innings of play, it's Whitman-Hanson 0, Hopkinton Hillers 0. You are tuned in to the Division II State Tournament on HCAM. HCAM Sports is supported by our viewers and by the Dentist at Hopkinton. The Dentist at Hopkinton provides services including comprehensive dental care, same-day crowns, facial aesthetics, periodontal care, cosmetic dentistry, and implant dentistry. The Dentist at Hopkinton is located at 77 Main Street and online at hopdent.com. Welcome back. We are ready to continue on into the top of the 4th. And since we're entering the 4th, we got the 4th pitcher of the game for the Hopkinton Hillers on the mound, Ethan Sensony out there. So the fourth inning belongs to Ethan, and we'll see what he can do. Well, so far so good on the committee venture. At the plate is Andrew Brenny. And that pitch a ball. One and two count. And that'll make it 2-2. Wind up and the pitch, down low. Set to deliver, that one outside, and that'll fill up the count. Set to deliver, and this is hit in the air, left side, and caught by James Hayward for the out. And that's going to bring up Jason Nye, the second baseman. Well, this Whitman-Hanson team known to be a good hitting team, and the Hiller fielders working hard today, but making the plays. That's going to bring up Jason Nye, the second baseman. And there is more warm-up action for the Hillers, getting their next guy ready for the next inning. Well, this Whitman-Hanson team known to be a good hitting that pitch outside. Hiller fielders working hard today, making the plays. Well, the good thing for the Hillers is they got a lot of guys that can pitch relatively well, so that's why they could do this committee-style type of venture. A 3-0 count, however, on Nye. See if Sensini can battle back here. There's a strike. Well, Ethan Sensini this season, he's pitched 2 2/3 of an inning. 5.25 ERA. Leg lift and the pitch. And this is hit in the air towards center field and caught. A nice catch there by Dylan Ruff. He ranged all the way over from shortstop to make the catch. And the Hillers, they got the outfielders playing very deep out there. They know this, the reputation of this Panther team, that they could hit. So they got those outfielders deep, and they know the infielders can cover a lot of ground. So they're being relied on to cover that ground in this game tonight as Kane Allen takes ball one. Wind up and the pitch, and this is up the left side, snagged by the third baseman. Throw over, and a nice play there as Bauschman gets it to Sullivan. A bit of a stretch, but he corrals it in. 5-3 for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the fourth on HCAM. Bottom of the fourth inning. 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Hillers. Michael Sullivan stepping to the plate. Tom Nappy, happy to be with you on the call for this Division II Round of 32 playoff matchup, state tournament matchup. Denise Antaki on camera, doing some fantastic work as always. And the count on Sullivan now 0-2. Well, Tom Crowley pitching a good game out there. A ball there, though, a little low. 1-2. And it's been a pitcher's duel. It's been the Hiller committee versus Tom Crowley. Hillers with a different pitcher every inning as this is driven in the air, left side foul, out of play. And it looks like the Hillers now have Nick Pedroli warming up, so you might see Nick Pedroli get an inning of work in today. He was the hero of the Memorial Day weekend tournament, both on the mound and with the bat. He pitched in the championship game, pitched 3 1/3 scoreless innings to keep the game going to the 11th, where the Hillers were finally able to get a run and hung on for the victory over Franklin to take the 2025 Metro West Daily News Pedroli Tournament title. 3-2 count now on Sullivan as he battles back. Leg lift and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Out number 1. Nice pitch there, and Sullivan, he had a big swing on that one. And that's going to bring up Calvin Mahan, the catcher. Michael Sullivan coming into the game, hitting a 407. He's been tremendous. Now you got Calvin Mahan, who's been very good with the bat as of late, a 263 on the season. 6 RBIs, 4 runs scored. Crowley has only thrown 48 pitches, so he's been very efficient out there for Whitman-Hanson. Leg lift and the pitch. And that pitch was dancing, and it dances in for strike 1. Leg lift and the pitch, and a bunt pulled back. And they're seeing if he went, and the answer is no, 1-1. Wind up and the pitch, and Mahan fouls that into the backstop. 1-2. Yeah, Crowley's been pretty effective. And he's hitting that strike zone. He's not throwing a whole lot of balls. So that's why his pitch count not very high at all. 2-2 here. And that pitch outside, full count. And now the Hillers, they got Michael Sullivan warming up. So they're getting everybody ready. You never know who you're going to see in this game. Pitch for the Hillers. That pitch up high, and the walk is drawn. And that is actually the second walk of the game for the Hillers. And we'll get a courtesy runner out there. So not a whole lot of base runners as of yet for the Hillers. They're hoping to change that here. Chris Wheeler in the game to pinch run for Calvin Mahan, the catcher, the courtesy runner. And now you got Noah Kramus coming to the plate. That pitch down low. Well, the Hillers switched up their batting order a little bit towards the bottom, trying to get something going. Or in the middle more so. Right? The bottom of the order has actually been great with Zach Stacy and James Hayward swinging the bat well. But they put Noah Kramus in there and see what he can do. That pitch inside. Kramus grounded out his only other plate appearance back in the first inning. Leg lift and the pitch. And it's a bunt. And it's foul. 1-2 the count now. 1 on, 1 out for the Hillers here in the bottom of the fourth. Checking at first, he's taken off, throw to second, and they got him. Oh no, they're going to call him safe, it looks like. Hold everything. No, he's safe. All right, Wheeler gets under the tag, and yeah, I think they changed the call. Initially, you saw the umpire signal out, and I think he was overruled. So Chris Wheeler is aboard at second base. Stolen base for the speedster. Well, that's why I use him as a courtesy runner. He's now 10 for 11 in stolen base attempts. Chris Wheeler has wheels. Swing and a miss. And there is out number 2. And that'll bring up Andrew Bauschman. That's why I use him as a courtesy runner. He's now 10 for 11. Set to deliver, hit high in the air, right side, foul territory, and it is caught. A nice play there to make the catch by the first baseman, Ryan Baker. And that is going to wrap up the fourth inning. We are scoreless, heading to the top of the fifth of this Division II round of 32 state tournament game on HCAM. Top of the fifth inning, and we got the fifth pitcher of the game for the Hopkinton Hillers. Gabe Cafazzo is out there for the Hillers, as the Hiller committee looks to keep that 0 on the scoreboard for this Whitman-Hanson Panthers team. Cafazzo has pitched 13 2/3 of an inning on the season, a 2.56 ERA. And the first hitter he faces is the top of the order, Tyler Pruitt, the catcher. Fazo set to deliver. A little low there. 1-1. Set for the 1-1. And just inside. I was going by the scoreboard there. It's 3-0. Well, that's the thing with bringing in a fresh pitcher. It could take a little time for them to get acclimated. 3-1 now the count. As he delivers a strike with a breaking pitch. Set to deliver, leg lift and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Well, the one great thing about these Hiller pitchers, oftentimes they know how to battle back when they're down in the count. And he got him. A beauty of a pitch there for the first out. And now Preston George, the shortstop, due up. Well, another positive thing that when you got a successful committee going on the mound, it really could throw off the opposing team as they just don't know what to expect. The 0-1 pitch. Fazo set to deal. He does. There's strike two. And that pitch outside, 1-2. Look at Fazo. He's a big moment pitcher for the Hillers, and he has been able to help them get a few wins out there on the hill. Leg lift and the pitch, and this is hit in the air over to right center, and Pedroli ranging to his left to make the catch. A beauty of a catch by Pedroli, and he had to run like 40 yards to make that catch. That was impressive. I'll bring up John Walker, the DH. Wind up and the pitch. And that one just misses. 1-0. Set to deliver. There's a strike. 1-1. Well, this season, the Hillers have used 12 different pitchers at one time or another. And they're going to see if he went. And the first base umpire says no. 2-1. And turning into a nice day after those little rain clouds disappeared that were spitting a little rain out. And the sun is out, and a nice night for baseball. This is hit in the air. Pedroli, no problem, makes the catch. 1-2-3 they go. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth. It's a scoreless game on HCAM. Ready to continue on into the bottom of the fifth. Zach Stacy stepping to the plate. 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up for the Hillers. And the bottom of this lineup, don't be fooled, they have been effective. Zach Stacy, Travis Rich, and James Hayward due up. Tom Crowley still out there. And he has been dealing for this Panthers team, only up to 60 pitches so far. 1-1 the count. And the Hillers are getting more arms ready. I believe that's Michael Sullivan going back over there. Wind up and the pitch. And that is just outside. And that'll make the count 2-2. Crowley, the leg lift and the pitch. And this is hit in the air, right side, and caught. Well, the right fielder really ranged in to make that catch. A nice play by Austin Brenny. And he saw his infielders going out to try to make the play. Saw they were struggling to find the ball a little bit, and he came in and saved the day as Travis Rich steps in. Leg lift and the pitch. And outside, 1-0. Rich has struck out so far in his only other plate appearance back in the second inning. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. And a strike there, 1-2. Oh, Westwood, the other TVL team in this Division II bracket. They're on the other side of the bracket. And he got him. Rich goes down by way of the K, and that'll bring up James Hayward. Westwood, the 9th seed. They'll take on 24th seeded. They beat 24th seeded Dartmouth to move on to the round of 16. So congratulations to Westwood. And don't forget to stay up to date with the TVL. You can catch our program on HCAM as well as several other cable access stations from TVL Communities, TVL Sportsnet. We had a new episode last Friday, and we'll have a new episode this coming Friday as well at 7 p.m. TVL Sportsnet. As there is a check swing. Did he hold? And it looks like the first base umpire says he did. 1-1 the count. And he gets a piece of this one. Slow roller up the right side. Throw to first. And did he beat it out? Yes, he did. And the throw got away. So flying up the line there to beat it out for the 2-out single is James Hayward. And now it's top of the order for the Hillers. Dylan Ruff set to step in. Now the Hillers, they've been pretty effective with 2 outs at times this year. We'll see if they can do something here. And that pitch got away, allowing Hayward the easy pass to second base. So Hayward has his 12th steal of the year. He's now 12 for 14 in stolen base attempts. Crowley delivers. And that pitch a little too inside. 1-0. Wind up and the pitch. And this is up the left side, glove by the third baseman, throw to first, they'll get the out. So it's going to be 5-3 for out number 3. And we remain scoreless as we head to the top of the 6th on HCAM.
Saturday morning cartoons are back. Every Saturday at 8 a.m., HCAM's Toon Time has an hour of classic cartoons, from Betty Boop to Superman to Popeye to Bugs Bunny and more. You'll see your old favorites and discover new ones. So tune in to Toon Time, Saturdays at 8, and start your weekend off with a laugh.
We enter the top of the 6th inning, and we have the 6th pitcher of the game for the Hopkinton Hillers. A new inning, a new pitcher. And you got Michael Sullivan out there now to take over. Due up for Whitman-Hanson, it's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Ryan Baker set to step in. And we are ready to go. And there's a strike. Correction on the Westwood score from earlier. Westwood baseball actually plays tomorrow. I was looking at their tennis score. Their tennis team was the 9th seed and won their game. But their baseball team plays tomorrow against Plymouth South. They'll host 24th seeded Plymouth South in that game tomorrow at 4 p.m. Wind up and the pitch. And that is fouled off. Set to deliver, and there's a ball. 1-2. The 1-2. And he got him. He got him looking, and that'll bring up Frank Carreri with one away. Nice pitch there by Sullivan. So looking at the bracket, the winner of this game advances to take on the winner of tomorrow's Reading and West Springfield game. That would be in the round of 16, so we'll see who advances. These teams really battling it out. It's been a pitcher's duel. Tom Crowley for Whitman-Hanson and the committee for the Hillers. 0-2 pitch here. And this is up the first base side into right field, and he is aboard with one out. First hit of the game for Whitman-Hanson since the 2nd inning. And that'll bring up Jacob Getchell, the third baseman. And we'll get a courtesy runner for Whitman-Hanson. And that looks like it is Brody Getchell in there to run for Frank Carreri. And some discussion going on down there. I think the ump's just cluing everybody in. We are set to continue on. And this is hit in the air, left side, and caught by Hayward. Hayward able to get under that one, no problem. 2 away. And now Andrew Brenny to the plate. Runner on first, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Checking at first, runner slides back safe. Well, this game it's been about the pitching and the defense. And we'll see which team can get some runs as we enter these later innings. That one fouled off. 0-1 the count. Set to deliver. And that one's in there for a strike. Runner from first takes off, and they got him. Frank Carreri caught stealing, and that'll wrap up the top of the 6th. What a great throw by Cal Mahan from behind home plate. Right in there to Travis Rich for the out. To the bottom of the 6th we go on HCAM. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Hiller bats going to see if they can get something going. Good part of the order to try to do so. Nick Pedroli starts things off. 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up. Pedroli, Sullivan, and Mahan. And Pedroli sends this one in the air towards the fence, and that's going to drop and go off the fence. Pedroli rounding second base, heading to third, and he slides in, and he has a triple. Nick Pedroli got under that one, powers it off the fence, and he's aboard with a leadoff triple in the bottom of the 6th. And here comes Michael Sullivan to try to drive him in. to get a mound discussion now. Crowley up to 75 pitches. It'll be interesting to see what his leash is. And clearly he's an ace type of pitcher for this Whitman-Hanson team. He has some good stuff out there. And until now, he's really quieted this Hiller lineup. And that is only the second hit of the game for the Hillers, but it's a big one. Pedroli at third base, and all he would need is pretty much anything hit into the outfield to score that run, which would be the go-ahead run. Michael Sullivan steps back in and awaits the pitch. A slight lead by Pedroli at third. Leg lift and the pitch. Swing and a miss. You know what Crowley's going to do. He's going to bring the heat, try to go for the strikeout. He's going to work those corners. Leg lift and the pitch. Up high. 1-1. Well, Michael Sullivan on the season, he's been something else with the bat. A .407 batting average. 27 RBIs on the season, 3 runs, 6 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer. Swing and a miss there, though. 1-2. Well, so far, Sullivan has struck out both times at the plate. And he puts this one on the ground. A short throw home. And they got him at the plate. Oh, so Sullivan reaches on the fielder's choice. But they got Pedroli at the plate. Just a great throw to home by Preston George. And the decision was made. Any contact, Pedroli was going. And they were going to take the risk, and they took it. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out there as Cal Mahan steps to the plate. And that pitch inside, 1-0. And Coach Anderson wants a word. We're going to bring in a pinch runner here for Sullivan. And that is Chris Wheeler back in the game to pinch run. Well, they know they got to put the speed on the base paths. Runs aren't going to be easy to come by in this one. So you need to bring out the speedsters to try to manufacture that go-ahead run. That's just too bad that Pedroli went on that one. You would have had one out with a runner on third still. Wind up and the pitch, up high. And a good job by the Whitman-Hanson catcher, Tyler Pruitt, pulling that one down. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Time was called. Set to deliver. Oh, that hit him. That'll put 2 on with 1 out. And we're going to get another courtesy runner. Pinch runner Caleb Altman coming in. So you got Wheeler on second, Altman at first, and Noah Kramus to the plate. Kramus 0 for 2. He's grounded out and struck out so far. Oop, late time call. Lights are on here at the Hopkinton High School turf fields. That pitch up high, runner from second taking off, and he's safe, and it's a double steal. So the Hillers push up both runners. Wheeler using those wheels to get to third base, and Altman now at second. One out in the inning. Anything into the outfield essentially scores a run. Wind up in the pitch. And he held there for the ball. Well, do you try the squeeze here? Wind up in the pitch, inside. 2-1 the count. Well, this is small ball at its finest right here. Wind up in the pitch. There's the bunt, and it is caught. What a catch by the catcher. He slid into the backstop to make the catch and gets out number 2. And now you got Andrew Bauschman stepping to the plate. And that is foul, or is that fair? They're gonna call that fair, and a run scores. Or it got away. It might have went off the catcher. Yeah, so that, I believe that got away from the catcher and allowed that run to score. Or it went off the glove, or it looked like, well, I guess the umpire's saying there was no contact. So they'll take it. A 1-0 lead for the Hillers. Hillers still with that runner at third, but Bauschman down in the count, 1-2. And off the backstop he goes. Yeah, I think what happened there, the hitter swung. It was a strike, he missed. And then it got away from the catcher. So that ball was in fair play. And the base runner, Chris Wheeler, jetted down the line and slid in for that Hiller run. 2-2 is the count on Bauschman. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's the end of the inning. But the Hillers do play to run, and they have a 1-0 lead heading into the top of the 7th. Whitman-Hanson will be down to their final 3 outs. Can the Hillers keep the shutout alive? We'll find out next on HCAM. Top of the 7th inning, the Hillers manufacture a run in the bottom of the 6th, and they got Whitman-Hanson down to their final 3 outs. Nick Pedroli, 7th pitcher of the game for the Hillers, on the mound to try to close it out. So he moves over from center field. We now got James Hayward in center field, Zach Stacy in right, and Matt Pedroli in left field for the Hillers. As Nick Pedroli tries to get the win for the Hillers and move them on to the Sweet 16. At the plate, Austin Brenahy, the right fielder. Wind up and the pitch, and there's a strike, 1-1. And a swing and a miss there, 1-2. That's the 7, 8, and 9 hitters this inning for Whitman-Hanson. Wind up and the pitch. Hit in the air, foul out of play. Look out, cars. And that didn't sound good. Count remains 1-2. Wind up and the pitch. Strike 3, 1 away. Jason Nye will step to the plate. Well, Jason Nye 1 for 2 on the day, is singled and lined out. And that's fouled into the backstop, 0-1. Leg lift and the pitch. Strike 2. A nasty breaking pitch that grabs the outer corner. Wind up and the pitch. And this is foul. Count remains 0-2. And this is up the middle and past the dive of the shortstop. Into center field it goes. A 1-out single for Jason Nye. And that'll bring up Kane Allen, and I think it was Dylan Ruff who really took a dive at that ball, landed hard on the turf, and he's a little shooken up. Certainly hope he's okay. Coach Anderson going to come check on him. We're hoping he just had the wind knocked out of him, but he landed really hard. So with the injury on the field, we're going to step aside. You are tuned in to Hiller Playoff Baseball on HCAM. All right, well, good news. That didn't last long. Ruff is up. He's ready to go, and I think it was just a case he had the wind knocked out of him. He's grabbing at his left arm a little bit, so he landed right on his left side, it looked like. So that probably wasn't too pleasant. So there's 1 out, runner on first. Whitman-Hanson down to their final 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Kane Allen stepping to the plate. Kane Allen, the center fielder, he doubled back in the 2nd inning and grounded out. Checking at first. Now Pedroli's going to keep that runner at bay. And another check-in. Pedroli usually very accurate on those check-ins, but got to be careful. You don't want to give him that extra base. And Mahan threatens the back pick. Runner slides back. One and oh the count. Pedroli has a good pickoff move. And he has caught some guys off guard. He delivers a pitch there. And it's outside. 2-0. Now you're going to see the runner take maybe a little bit more of a lead here. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Wind up and the pitch and the check-in, rather. Runner slides back. He delivers, and this is hit in the air, foul out of play, 2-2. Big pitch coming up here. Breaking pitch up high, full count. Well, you certainly don't want to lose this hitter. He's going to zone in here. If they're going to send that runner, they're going to do it right here. Swing and a miss! Checking at first. And he slides back just safe. 2 outs in the inning, but top of the order. Tyler Pruitt stepping to the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. And the outfielders are shifting out more. And get a slight stoppage here. All right, we're ready to continue. Whitman-Hanson down to their final out. Runner on first. Fouled into the backstop, 0-1. Leg and the check-in, runner slides back. You know, down to their final out, the Panthers certainly a little bit desperate to advance that runner. Wind up and the pitch, and this is hit in the air, foul out of play, 0-2. And that was landed on the Hiller bench. Panthers down to their final strike. Just outside, 1-2. Another pitch outside, 2-2. He's trying for that outer corner. He's trying to sneak one in on him. Breaking pitch up high, full count. Well, you gotta lock in here. Time called, hitter steps out. Wind up and the pitch. A swing and a miss, and the Hillers take the 1-0 win. Nick Pedroli comes through in the clutch once again, and the Hillers are moving on to the round of 16. Unbelievable. Well, this game was all about the small ball, and the Hillers, they did it with perfection, and they get the 1-0 win over Whitman-Hanson to move on to the round of 16. They're actually out hit by the Panthers 6-2, but they were perfect in the field. No errors for the Hillers. Whitman-Hanson with just one error, and the Hillers did just enough to squeak out the win and take the round of 32 matchup over this very good and impressive Whitman-Hanson team by a final of 1-0. And the player of the game, I mean, who else? But it's got to be Nick Pedroli for closing it out. He was tremendous in the clutch, as always, and he went 1 for 3 at the plate as well. So a great win for the Hillers, and they move on to the round of 16 as they get a very good team effort win over Whitman-Hanson, 1-0 in the round of 32. What a great game it was here on this Sunday night. Don't forget, we got more playoff action coming your way tomorrow night. We'll have Hiller softball, 5 p.m. start to that game. It'll be a round of 32 game, and it should be a great battle, as all these games are at this time of year. Throw the records out the window. You never know who will take the win. But that is going to do it for our coverage here tonight. A big thank you to Denise Antaki for her fantastic camera work. And for everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. We thank you for tuning in. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we will talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody, and go Hillers.